Hello. Well, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome back if you've been here before. So, I don't know how orderly this video is going to be because I'm tired. I'm very, very tired. I was up until like 2 a.m. last night, and then at like 3:30 there was like a raccoon outside my window, and my cats went ballistic and woke me up. So it's been a very tired day so far. But yeah, so I wanted to just discuss briefly. Let's see if it's brief. The Magic of You Oracle. I love this oracle. I love it, love it, love it. I love the artwork so much. It's by Fiona Horn, and I don't know if she's the photographer too. It doesn't say. It's a rock pool oracle, and it just has Fiona Horn on it. So she must be the photographer, um, as well as the writer of the book. So um, these are the backs as sort of a nod to Hecate, I think Hecate, how you pronounce it. And then there's these gorgeous pieces of art. Let's see. I hope you could see that. Like if I do it this way, then I just get a ton of glare. So I always have to angle it. If you can tell me below how some of y'all are able to do it this way and not get a bunch of glare, please tell me. Because I got a window and I got two lights on, so that's what it's hitting. So, but solitude, and then it has a phrase at the bottom: alone but not lonely. So solitude, alone but not lonely, and the book has rituals in it. So this is a very witchy deck. So I mean, it doesn't require a ton of witchy knowledge, but it does have a witchy energy to it. Here, let me read some of the beginning. The Magic of You Oracle is a viewing glass for the bigger picture in life, for those times when you can't see the wood for the trees and need perspective. The deck is designed to offer clarity and confirmation and may sometimes appear the opposite of what you are thinking and feeling for good reason. And I'll skip to the third paragraph. There is a magical aspect to each card in the offering of a corresponding ritual forged with witch's wisdom. Performing the ritual is optional, but it is most likely that you will feel drawn to performing some magical work as you immerse yourself in the cards. You do not have to be a witch to perform the rituals and benefit from them. If you are an avowed witch, then the work will appear familiar. If you are a newcomer, then you may find yourself taking your first steps on the path of the witch. I wish you joy and fulfillment on your journey. Blessed be Fiona. Yeah, and it's just a powerful deck because of all the artwork and there's odd keywords. They're like some of them are very odd, like panacea. There is a solution to every problem. And you got like these feet and then these entwined rope around the ankle. So that's serendipity, merge with the flow. And this is phenomenon, be still and listen to the spirits. Isn't that cool? That is so cool. Now, my relationship with this deck is a bit complicated. There's some emotional baggage that I have with this deck, but it doesn't keep me from using it. If anything, it has brought me closer to the deck. I was vacationing in Cleveland, and I went to the Buckland Museum there and got this deck in their shop. And So we came back to the bed and breakfast. That evening, I opened it. And I got up really early the next morning, like really early. It was before my husband got up. And I hopped online, went onto YouTube to just watch some videos. And what pops up are these videos that were just recently posted by Poppy Palin. And if anyone knows, and trigger warning, there's some talk of suicide. So if that is triggering for you, please turn this off. But if you aren't aware, Poppy Palin, the creator of the Everyday Enchantment Tarot, and she wrote some books, and she took her own life. And before doing that, she recorded, I believe, 2 videos, and she posted them on YouTube, just going over her life and just how sad she was and just how she felt so alone. And she was in a lot of pain. She had a lot of chronic pain issues. So she talked about that as well. And I freaked out. I'm like, she just posted these. Now in the video, she says, if you're seeing this, it's too late. It's already done. Which was really unsettling. It was a very unsettling experience. And I tried to contact anyone I knew in England just by maybe they know where she lives, and can do something. But no one did. And so yeah. So this deck was sitting right there next to me when I was watching these videos, and I was so distraught. I was so upset, and so there's this layer on this deck that really makes me value life, and it makes me I don't know. I'm not sure how to explain it, to be honest. It brings me to that vulnerable space that people can be in. It brings me to that space where I can be vulnerable. It doesn't shy away from darkness. It doesn't shy away from your light. I think it's a very well-rounded deck. Like the artwork most of it is pretty dark looking, aesthetically. But it's a very empowering deck. That's what I love about it as well. But because of Poppy Palin, this deck will forever be merged with that experience. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's interesting. It's an interesting association that I have with a particular deck. And I don't think I have any strong associations with any other deck. And so this deck has a special place in my heart. And it's a very, like I said, it's an empowering deck. And I see it as a very inspiring deck for becoming a leader of your own life. And I think that's what I'm going to call this, be a leader of your own life. One of the first cards I ever pulled was Opulence, It's Time to Lead. And I mentioned this in my previous video, this card, and how I was feeling overwhelmed by the idea and very insecure about the idea of being a leader. And then I got a reading from Sadhana, from Sadhana Integrative Healing with Sadhana. I think that's the title of her channel. And she told me that I'm supposed to be a leader. And I'm like, no, I'm not. But everyone is a leader. Everyone is a leader. Even if you're not leading other people, you are a leader of your own life. And that is a lot of work to become a leader of your own life. Translucence, love the darkness. In order to be a leader of your own life, you have to really face those shadows in you, and to not reject them outright, and to see them as a flip of the coin, It's the other side of the light. And so try to see your shadows as just the dark aspect of something that's really good about you. For instance, say you have impulse control with food. Um, you can say the light side of that is that you appreciate pleasure. Or let's see. You get angry easily, and fly off the handle. Or you suppress your anger. You push it down, push it down, push it down. But that anger can often manifest inspiration, righteous anger. Anger is not something to be afraid of. And so I think this understanding of the shadow is partly about understanding the whole picture. And protection, set personal boundaries. In order to be a leader of your own life, you do have to protect yourself. You have to set boundaries with yourself and other people. Now, you can have rules for other people and say, you can't do this. And boundaries are saying, if you do this, this is going to be how I react in order to protect myself. That is a boundary. And I admittedly struggle with boundaries. My boundaries are very amorphous. They're very fluid. If someone pushes my boundaries, I don't always push back, and I don't always uphold them. So this is an important card for me. And it's something that I need to meditate on and write on. Because honestly, a lot of times I'm like, I don't know what my boundaries are. I don't know. So that's a card that I am going to need to work on. Liberation, free yourself. In order to be a leader of your own life, you have to let go of the baggage. You have to work through the baggage. The things that are dragging you down and twining around you and holding you too tight like a vice. And some of it is trauma work, going to therapy, doing the work, and putting yourself first, putting your own healing first. And that is very important. You can't be the leader of your own life if you don't heal, and I'm not saying you can't be a leader of other people if you're not the leader of your own life. I bet there's a lot of leaders out there who are awful at leading their own lives. Putting themselves first and being healthy and empowering themselves. I'm sure they're out there, but I'm sure it's very difficult. You can't lead other people effectively if you don't lead your own life well. And this is Buho, transform the way you see. I would say this card it's about perspective. It's about if you are having rose-colored glasses on, in order to avoid the darkness in the world and the bad and the evil and stuff like that. This card is telling you to take them off, to stop hiding from reality. But on the flip side, the opposite is true. That if all you see is the darkness, then you aren't seeing reality for what it is. And in order to be a leader of your own life, you need to have a dialectical relationship with reality where you see both exist, the dark and the light. And if you are fixating on one side, you're not seeing things in perspective. And I think this is saying you need to see things in perspective, and for changing the way you see it. Like if you're always negative, if you're always seeing the negative, this is saying embrace gratitude and see those parts of your life that are worth embracing and celebrating. So yeah, so it's both sides. No rose-colored glasses, no shit-stained glasses, I should say. Sacrifice. What can you let go of? Like, this goes back to the baggage, like, what are we fixated on? Like, if we get the devil card, what are we attached to? What are we overly attached to? These things can really drag us down and keep us from evolving. And I think this card is saying, like, you don't have to sacrifice yourself. You sacrifice those bad parts of your psyche that are dragging you down, and work through those. Don't suppress them. Don't ignore them. You have to work through them. And once you work through them, you can let them go. And there could be a ritual around that. You can let it go, through a ritual. Avenoir, make peace with your past. In order to move forward successfully, you have to make peace with your past. You can't be a leader of your own life if you're fixated on the past and you can't get past it. Obviously, there are things that will never go away. Grief will never completely go away. Sadness will never completely go away. Regret will never completely go away. But it's moving beyond those. It's, again, that dialectical way of living, the both and. It's not either or, it's both and. So you can be experiencing grief and still celebrate life and move on. You could be experiencing regret and use that as a tool to make sure that you don't regret things in the future, instead of repeating the same pattern, getting stuck in those things that make you feel regret. And it can be hard. It can be very hard. I mean, I'm a work in progress. I am rough, I'm rough around the edges. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of fixations, a lot of baggage, a lot of impulse control, and, all those things. Like, I still struggle with all those things, but I'm working on it. And I'm in therapy, and I journal a lot. I do spiritual practice. I talk through my issues, and I've been working really hard to become the leader of my own life. And what's this? Resilience. Burn away the past. So resilience is another thing that I've been working on. It's something like, and I don't know, maybe I am resilient. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know what resilience actually is. Like, I've been through shit. And I came out the other side, but I had no choice. You come out the other side. That's what resilience is. And I did a kicking and screaming. Does that mean I'm not resilient because I was verbal about the misery of the situation? I don't know. Like, some people are very quiet, when they're going through something. They don't share their feelings with anyone. Is that resilience? Or is that unhealthy? I don't know. I'm sure it's somewhere in the middle. Whining about something repeatedly is not going to help, and it's not healthy, but suppressing everything isn't healthy either. So to be resilient, to be honest, I don't even know how to define that at this point. Epiphany, reveal your gifts. In order to be a leader of your life, you have to embrace your gifts. You have to see your gifts. Like, it's very hard if you grew up being reminded that you weren't worth something, like if you were bullied in school, or if you were treated poorly by your parents or your grandparents or your siblings, or if you're treated badly at work. There's people who become traumatized by toxic work environments because they're told on a daily basis that they don't matter, and that they don't have gifts, They're not precious. They're not valued. And that can really fuck with your brain. That could fuck with the way you see yourself. And so, in order to be a leader of your life, you need to give them the finger and say, no, I got gifts. There are special things about me, and I'm going to embrace them. I'm going to value them. I'm going to celebrate them, and I'm going to use them. And so, yeah, I think in order to move forward with your own evolution, you really need to take stock of the good things about you and the gifts you have and the skills you have, and value those. Euphoria, honor yourself. You have to honor yourself if you're going to be the leader of your own life. You have to. You have to put yourself first. You have to see yourself as a sovereign being who is deserving of honor, is deserving of respect, is deserving of peace and everything that you want, in order to be happy and whole. You deserve the work, because it is a lot of work. And that's what self-care is. It's not always bubble baths. Sometimes it is, absolutely. But sometimes it's just doing the hard work. That's what self-care is. It's putting the best part of yourself first is what self-care often is. And so honoring yourself should become a staple in your life philosophy, So yeah. Tangibility, make your dreams real. To be a leader of your own life, you need to make your dreams real. You need to work towards them. You need to value them, and you need to, make sure other people value them and respect them too, and to have vision for yourself. Some people are very much stuck in the past, or they're stuck in the present, and it's very hard for them to think about the future. And that's where dreams lie, is in the future. And it's important to come up with realistic dreams to strive forward towards, but also to sort of stretch those boundaries, push yourself. Don't keep yourself small. Like we've pushed past your boundaries a little. Just push against them. Make yourself uncomfortable in order to dream bigger, a little bigger than what you have been. And if you haven't been dreaming about anything and you're just living day to day, you got nowhere to go but up, as far as dreaming. And I think journaling is a good tool for coming up with what you want out of life. Naz, feel loved and proud. Feel loved and proud. Some people think that they aren't loved. And that is a very dark place to be. It's a very sad place to be. But that doesn't mean that you aren't loved. And that doesn't mean that you're not valued. And it doesn't mean that you have nothing to be proud of. Like, be proud of yourself, like you've been through things. You've made it to the other side. And that is important. It's important to notice those things. It's important to remember those things, to record those things. So you can take stock of what you've done and say, you know what? I'm worthy of love and I'm worthy of pride. I can be proud of myself. And without all that, you can't really be a leader. And that's a lot of work. Where'd the leader card go anyway? There. Opulence, it's time to lead. Now in the book, it describes leading other people. But like I said, it's very difficult to lead other people if you aren't leading yourself. So I think there's work to be done even before you're leading other people, or while you're leading other people, because we're all clay molding ourselves into something better. Even the highest people, in the echelon, the people who are movers and shakers and who seem so confident, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are still working through shit just like we are. And it's important to keep that in mind, that you don't have to have imposter syndrome when leading other people when you're still molding yourself, you know? You don't have to have imposter syndrome if you're, you're faking it till you make it. You're like, I'm a badass. I'm like worthy of honor. I am a sovereign bitch, and then and telling you those affirmations, telling yourself those affirmations, even if some days you really don't believe it at all. But that's a tool. Affirmations are a tool to get you over those humps and to help you start thinking differently, start rewiring how your brain works. And that's a lot of work, but it's worth it, and you're worth it. Remember that you are worth the work. And so yeah, that's what I have for this video. It's almost a half hour long. So if you stuck with me this long, thank you. But yes, I recommend this. If you like the darker aesthetic of it, it's a very powerful, beautiful deck. Not very big, not a chunky deck. I think it's missing about 10 cards. But I love it just the same. And so yeah. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.